Hi, I'm Mike. I'm an American who's been living in Paraguay for the last 15 years, and I make videos about Paraguay and my life here. And today I want to talk about wokeism. Wokeism and why Paraguay continues to be a refuge from it. And this video applies basically to people who are thinking of moving here, not for those who are coming here for tourism purposes. So if you are thinking of moving here and you need some help with your residency, check out my webpage, paraguaymike.com. My wife is a lawyer and she's been providing residency services for the last 10 years. Now, as some of you may know, I released a video a couple weeks ago about the immigration policy here in Paraguay, and it was by far the most viewed video I've ever had. And I did receive a good amount of backlash from the woke community, and that made me think of doing this video, actually. And I don't bear any of the people that sent their comments and their emails to me any ill will. They're basically the product of over 60 years of indoctrination and propaganda. So I just basically deleted their comments and moved on. And if you take a look at my thumbnail, the thumbnail I created, the reference to The Walking Dead is not meant as an insult to these people. It's meant as a metaphor, basically. When you've been indoctrinated into this way of thinking, you lose your own personal agency and you tend to become part of a hive mind. So instead of having the ability to think critically or accept fact for fact, you follow what you've been indoctrinated with. And so, like I said, that metaphor in the thumbnail about the unthinking zombies, and also the image of the woman and the child, it kind of references my own decision as well to decide to raise my kid here. When he back when he in 2014 when he was or 2015 when we were thinking about putting him into school, we were thinking about maybe going back to the States, but I didn't want to have him raised in that environment. I chose. Not alone, with my wife as well, but we chose to raise him here in Paraguay, outside of that educational system, let's just say, that had been for years teaching these woke concepts. So anyway, why is Paraguay pretty much immune to this woke ideology? I won't say immune completely, but why does it resist the woke ideology so effectively? Well, that gets back to three factors mainly. And the first factor is the 35-year reign of Generalissimo Alfredo Stroessner as a dictator here. And he was a right-wing dictator, and therefore he did not allow any of the ideology from the left to permeate inside his borders. And that's what wokeism is. Wokeism was born out of a philosophy called critical theory, which was itself born out of Marxism, basically. And it was brought to the United States in the late 1930s when the people that invented it, a group of Germans, fled religious persecution from Germany and came to the United States. And then it was picked up in the 1950s by some wealthy benefactors, and it was successfully put into the educational system inside the United States, became incorporated in that, and grew from there. So all your major concepts, third wave feminism, critical race theory, also the whole gay rights movement, as well as intersectionalism, which is kind of like crossing all these things together to see how much victim status a person has. So the whole concept of wokeism is based on this critical theory, which is itself the concept of oppressor and oppressed. Everything is broken down into those terms. So whether it's starting from the family all the way up to corporations to whatever government, it's always the oppressed and the oppressors. And what happened was that this ideology couldn't take place here because Stroessner had too strong of a hand in running the government. And so all those years in the United States and in some parts of Western Europe, this ideology was not only allowed to proliferate, it was encouraged. It was actively backed by wealthy donors. And so basically this country has more or less a 40-year, or I should say the other way around, the Western countries have like a 40-year head start on adopting this stuff over Paraguay. So, okay, the next thing is the Catholic Church. Now, the Catholic Church here is very strong. And I myself am not a Catholic. I am a Christian, but I'm not a Catholic. However, I can recognize that the teachings of the Church affect a lot of the way society is run here and also the government. And so, for example, in this country, marriage between non-heterosexuals is not legal. Also, how do I put this? Fetal assassination is not legal either. Although practically every other type of contraception available is available here, the option to eliminate a fetus is not legal. So basically people are raised and ingrained with the religious ideology, which is stronger than what's being presented to them by modern day society and by foreign governments and non-governmental agencies or non-governmental organizations who seek to liberate Paraguay from its backwardness, I guess, or its oppression towards women and everybody else. And then the third reason why wokeness doesn't succeed here is because the whole tenet of wokeness is based on victimhood. And that's what makes it so attractive also to the masses, because it's an excuse for anyone who fails. If you fail at something in life, you always have that excuse to fall back on. I didn't make it because of my gender. I didn't make it because of my skin color. I didn't make it because of my religion. I couldn't do it because of my sexual orientation. It's an easy out. Even if these people are presented with other people that have those same characteristics and they succeeded, they still will argue that no, that person is an exception to the rule, or that person is a sellout. The whole thing is the whole system is against me, poor me, and that's this concept of intersectionalism as well, where you collect victim cards like you're playing poker or something. So you can have who's the most oppressed, based on how many boxes you check, of the characteristics I just mentioned. So anyway, the reason why that doesn't make it here is because this is a third world country. I mean, people are getting up every day and trying to make their daily bread. They don't have time to be worrying about, excuses. First of all, there's also no social welfare programs here that will back up people. You can't just say, I can't make it, and then go get money from the government. Everybody here is trying to make their daily bread, and they're getting out to work every day. They don't have time to do this. They don't have time to protest or to listen to people complain about how they're discriminated against. It's like they're too busy. So I would say that this whole wokeism is more of a first world issue, because in the first world you got that safety net to fall back on. You can collect your unemployment or your food stamps or whatever it is, and go on about your merry day protesting and painting your face and carrying signs and doing what you want for your protesting your supposed oppressors. Here, if you do that, you don't eat that day. So it's just as simple as that. But this is a major reason why a lot of people find their way here. A lot of people from the Western world cite one of the reasons that they're coming here as being to escape from that, because it creates tremendous social division. When you have this as part of your society, it pits person against person. It pits based on all of these different characteristics. And it's meant to do so. That's why it was backed by the wealthy one percenters back in the 1950s. Imagine that these people, the likes of the Rockefeller and Carnegie and Ford foundations, backed this as a way to make more money, because what were they able to do? They were able to further divide society. They were able to double the workforce, therefore dropping the wages, the cost of labor, and focus the liberals, focus the left wing, which was previously focused on labor issues, which were a commonality among all people. They were able to divide them up into different groups. So, very profitable for them. If you research, I don't know the exact figures, but I read something that in 1960, the top 1% of the people in the United States owned 23% of the total value of everything in the United States. That's money, gold, land, stocks, whatever. And then as of 2020, that had increased from 23 to 32%. So good on them. I mean, they played society and they made some big bucks doing it. But anyway, I just thought I would do a little video about this issue, because it did come up, and the Walking Woke came and visited me and sent me a lot of snide stuff that I had to delete. But anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. Adios, amigos.